These 5 rappers were legends before making a mistake and getting cancelled and ruining their career. Some were able to make a comeback, but some mistakes were so bad they're still cancelled to this day. Starting with R. Kelly. A lot of you know R. Kelly for his recent scandals, but before that, R. Kelly was one of the best R&B singers of the 90s, even winning 3 Grammy Awards for his music. Not only was he a performer, but he was also a producer and a songwriter, producing and writing for Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Trey Songz, and so many big names. But then things got ugly. In 1994, a video was surfaced of R. Kelly having intercourse with an underage girl, and in 2002, Kelly married singer Aaliyah. Aaliyah was 15 at the time. Then in 2008, Kelly was on trial for being a pedophile, but he was not found guilty at the time and the charges were dropped. This did nothing but hinder his career, and no new accusations came out until in 2019 the documentary Surviving R. Kelly was released, with multiple women coming out and accusing him of manipulation, abuse, coercion, with some cases dating back decades. This led to new investigations opening, which started another trial of R. Kelly. He was eventually found guilty of racketeering and trafficking, and in 2022 was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison, which he is still serving now. Before everyone knew about R. Kelly's dark side, he was known as a legend. Now his music is forgotten and he's known for his true nature. Next up is Will Smith, who went viral for a mistake he made taking over the internet, but before that he was loved and one of the most popular figures in the entire world. Will Smith began rapping in the 1980s under the Fresh Prince name and was already super successful, and to help boost that, he starred in the sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that ran for 6 seasons from 1990 to 1996, which not only made him a major rap star, but also known as a household actor. He took a backseat from rapping and transitioned into becoming a superstar actor, starring in some major films from the 90s up until today. All was well until the Academy Awards in 2022, hosted by Chris Rock. Chris made a joke about Will's wife Jada, which caused Chris to do this. Oh, wow. This went crazy and took over the internet. Will even went on stage later that night to accept an award and did not make an apology to Chris. Will was banned from the Academy Awards for 10 years and made a public apology, but was clowned for it, starting the downfall of his iconic name. Will is landing less acting roles and is now trying to make a comeback in music, but it's not good. Before the slap, Will was a household name and one of the biggest and loved names in the entire world. Now we all remember him for the slap. But the next legend who made many mistakes causing his downfall is Kanye West. Before becoming a star rapper, Kanye was a producer, mainly working with Jay-Z, who was on top of the rap game at the time. Kanye eventually decided he wanted to be a rapper, and in 2004 released his debut rap album College Dropout, which instantly took over the rap scene, winning him his first Grammy of many. Over his music career, he continued to create amazing music, redefining what music could sound like, innovating the genre by blending different styles into one, which was never done before. Kanye was always a loud public figure with some crazy tweets and public outbursts, but the beginning of the end was in 2018, where he came out and said slavery was a choice, which of course caused outrage. He began to support Donald Trump publicly, which caused fans to hate him, running for president, wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, wearing this crazy black outfit, attacking peers online, releasing private messages between him and his wife at the time, making tons of anti-Semitic comments, and the list just goes on and on. This led him to not only being cancelled by fans, but being dropped by some of the biggest companies in the world. Today, Kanye still has diehard fans, but has lost the respect from the rest of the crowd and has completely tainted his name. Although he's still trying to make a comeback in music, it's just not the same. But someone who will never make a comeback is Diddy. Diddy started off as a music producer in the early 90s before founding Bad Boy Entertainment, which was one of the biggest and influential labels in all of hip-hop. He went on to sign some major artists at the time, with Biggie being the biggest. He went on to release his own music, be behind major hits, and expand into business and fashion, and by the early 2000s he was on top of the world, being one of the most powerful figures in music. Diddy had small stints throughout the 2000s and 2010s, but it wasn't until the early 2020s where all started to unravel. Artists who were signed to Diddy came out to voice how unfair his label deals are. Many women began accusing him of abuse, similar to the R. Kelly case, with some cases dating back to the 90s. And behind the scenes, the feds began building a case against him, and his house was raided in 2024, where they found guns, baby oils. The charges against him was trafficking, racketeering, and fraud, and was facing up to 50 years, but somehow in mid-2025 he was sentenced to only 4 years in prison, where he was currently serving. To this day, Diddy's name is completely tainted and he is cancelled for his acts against women, and it's safe to say a comeback won't happen anytime soon as no one in the industry wants to work with him. But next on the list is someone who was cancelled but managed to make a comeback, Chris Brown. Chris Brown began making music in his early teens and rose to fame, reaching #1 on the charts at just 16 years old in 2005 for his hip-hop R&B style of music. And at just 18 years old, he had released 2 albums, making him a global superstar. But in 2009, the night before the Grammys, Chris Brown had assaulted his girlfriend Rihanna, who was also a global superstar. Photos of Rihanna's injuries were leaked, causing insane outrage, completely destroying his name he had built up. Chris Brown was later sentenced to 5 years of probation, community service, domestic violence counseling, and his music was pulled from radio stations. Chris Brown went quiet and worked on himself, and somehow just 2 years later in 2011 he came back, released his album Fame, and won a Grammy. But his career wasn't fully rebuilt. In a Good Morning America interview, Chris was asked about Rihanna, which caused a meltdown. He violated his probation, served time in prison, entered rehab, accused of assault from another girlfriend, and was thrown into multiple lawsuits. Through all of this, Chris was still releasing music, and today he's known as a generational talent, selling out stadiums, selling hundreds of thousands of albums. But no matter what he does, his mistake involving Rihanna will always follow him. And that's only 5 examples of rappers who are superstars until making multiple mistakes leading to that cancellation. Thank you for watching. If you love music, be sure to subscribe for more of it, and I shall see you in the next one. Peace.